19th, you can join for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 convenient locations worldwide and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. Whether you're a newbie or a gym pro, you belong in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, July 19th. See Home Club for details.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
Rest in the double-doubles here. If you had to pass the baton down to the new guy and say, that's the new pipeline, what does that look like?
Conditioning for me ultimately is a game changer. I don't care how much you can bench, how much you can squat. If you can start a game and finish a game in the same condition in the extreme elements, you're going to have the ability to wear down your opponent. And that's what we took a lot of pride in. By the third and fourth quarter, they were dog tired. They knew it was coming at them again, the same it was in the first quarter.
Hey, moms and dads, bring the whole crew to a Salt Dogs baseball game and unleash the fun. Visit Haymarket Park all summer for Fireworks Fridays, Souvenir Saturdays, Sunday Family Fun Days, and more. With 50 home games, even weekdays can be unforgettable. Planning an event? Make it a home run with group discounts. When you need an outing the whole family will enjoy, unleash the fun with the Salt Dogs. Call 402-474-2255 or visit saltdogs.com for tickets.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine throughout the day. We'll see an afternoon high of around 92. Tonight, showers and storms are likely to take place. We'll see a low of around 68. And tomorrow, we'll see a chance of storms early in the day, then mostly sunny skies will take over the rest of the day. We'll see a high of around 90. Meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Welcome in to We Talk Facts. With 9-year NBA veteran and Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer Eric Strickland and two-time Nebraska Football National Champion Lester Johnson. Talking and taking names in sports and day-to-day living. Sit back, relax, and join the show with 9-year NBA vet and Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer Eric Strickland and two-time Nebraska Football National Champion Lester Johnson.
Wow. It just seems like it's been forever since you and I have sat in the booth together, C-Bo. Once again, it is WTF. We Talk Facts. Another Tuesday night. My goodness. A couple weeks now, huh?
It's been a minute.
It's been a few.
We took a 4th of July break. Pop a lot of fireworks.
Shout out to everybody on 4th of July that had a chance to spend time with their families. I think that's the beautiful thing about 4th of July sometimes. Just be able to get together, eat great meals, chop it up, laugh and giggle, sniggle, whatever you want to call it, get together and just chop it up over a nice, just wonderful evening.
And my man Strick had an opportunity to come over to the crib.
Yeah.
We sat out on the deck and had a very, very
some interesting dialogue.
Conversation.
Yeah, some interesting dialogue.
It was good. Then we popped some fireworks.
Yep, and we did that, absolutely. Well, today on We Talk Facts, we're going to talk a little bit about Nebraska Recruits 2024. Not in this segment, but on the next segment. Joining us on WTF is going to be Mike Sauter. We'll be talking a lot about NU football, the recruiting, and a lot of what we're going to get into on that. And we can kind of, caveat it or kind of preface before we get with Mike Sauter. There's a lot of things that Nebraska has done. You've been a part of some of the best of what Nebraska has done in its past and its history, at some of its greatest of times. Now we're seeing a new rule dynasty. And is he starting to recycle kind of a little bit of that mojo, getting back to some of the basics, going back to the heartbeat of what Nebraska really is? Is he kind of landing in the zone? Is he found his way in the right mix? What are you thinking right now about what you
say this? He's on the right track.
On the right track.
He's on the right track. And I appreciate the foreshadowing, the new rule.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that.
A little something every now and then.
So, some of the statistics, because we talk facts here, is what we do. And I do want to say we appreciate everybody who tunes in.
Facts.
We're going to be doing this every Tuesday from 8 to 9. And hopefully we can even expand and get into doing some more stuff. But again, I just wanted to say thank you to all the people out there who are very interested in hearing what we got to say, because it's going to be compelling.
Yes.
It's going to be real.
Yes.
We're
Authentic.
We're not sugarcoating anything.
No.
But anyway, let me get back to it.
Real quick.
Yeah.
You know what I got a vision for, Sibo?
Mm-hmm. Talk to me.
I got a vision for WTF
Mm-hmm.
Midnight Hour.
Ooh. Stop the press.
No, that's that uncut. That's that uncut. That's that uncut.
Oh, man,
I got a vision for it, but we're gonna take some
like
time.
BT, like
Man,
BT
like
uncut?
some uncut.
That
like,
might be too much.
just that raw fusion.
We might need to go to Sirius or something for
Man,
that.
yeah,
Can
but
we
I
do
got a
that over
vision.
the airwaves?
I got a vision for it.
All right,
We going.
let's-
It's gonna be stream only.
Ooh.
Okay, no, we will not be doing anything over the radio when we get into the midnight hour.
Might have a hard time keeping
Nah,
up with
we
the dumb
won't-
button
we
if it's midnight hour.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's just something I was thinking.
Okay. Listen, you got my heart start pumping a little bit more. I want to hear a little bit more about this vision. But anyway, Coach Rule, what he's doing, Nebraska. Some of the statistics that we kind of talked about off air was Coach Osborne and kind of how he used to treat in-state recruits, being that he used to average about 7 recruits, 6 to 7 recruits every year from the state of Nebraska. And we want to talk about, does that matter anymore? Because obviously the game has changed, pointed out by, very nicely. I got a friend out there. His name is Max Callen. He's very, OG, one of OG of mine that I look up to. He pointed out to me one of the things that we talked about last time was how the game has changed, how the Midwest schools used to dominate, and the game has changed. The offenses have changed, along with some of the old coaches who dominated, the Tom Osbornes and the Joe Paternos and the Bo Schembechlers. A lot of those guys have left, along with it used to be in a strong running game emphasis,
right,
which worked very well in cold weather.
Mm-hmm.
Now that things have shifted, can we get it done with these kids in state?
Yeah, I think too, what we found is because of the shift and the way that the game has been played, what it used to be is you used to be able to go into any of the farmlands, the corn-fed areas, out into the Ainsworths and out into the Yorks and, these different areas. Absolutely. And find these linemen, they may only be about 250, 240, but by the time they get down here, get into that weight room, Boyd Epley get a hold to them. They end up about almost 300, but super athletic, great feet, agile, can do a lot of different things.
And they'll have them ready after 2-3
couple years.
That's right.
And so there's some of the differentiation because of the transfer portal now, and a lot of kids don't have that weight. They don't have that want to get in, and I'm not saying all, but I'm saying a great majority of them, they want to be able to.
Upper echelon kid want to come in.
They want to come in right away, right? So you have some of that going on, but then what you would find is you may be able to get a good quarterback. That's where you got Crouch kind of popped up. Millard North had that very similar style of offense that Millard North was running, which made Crouch a very viable candidate to come here and play at Nebraska at that time. And then what we didn't see is the passing receivers. You would get the wing backs, your Holbeins, but you crossed over. You know what I mean? So you weren't initially.
Pretty much all of us did.
Right.
Converted.
Yeah. So when you look at that, well, outside of Aaron Davis.
Right.
Aaron Davis probably was a receiver.
You're not gonna bring up Aaron Davis on the show.
Yeah,
right? I mean, Aaron's my man, but he ran like a 4.9. I mean, we can't. I love
He's the
Aaron.
only one that stayed as what he was.
That's my guy, though. That's my guy.
But now it's shifted. So now you've got receivers. So this is why what you're saying, you've got McMorris and Hall and these types of talent, because it was a void period that missed a lot of those types of players for a period of time.
Malachi from Lincoln East.
Yeah.
Malachi Coleman.
Malachi Coleman.
I'm not sure if he's going to play receiver or not, but I think that we're starting to develop some of those kids, and part of it has to do with 7-on-7. That's become a huge deal, and kids training year round. Remember, I think we talked about it on some of our earlier shows, how we used to have seasons. Like we knew it was football season and it was basketball season. Then it maybe was some time off for some.
Yeah.
And then we would
back into it.
Maybe
training.
some track, then then time off back in track. It's not like that anymore. It's like kids are it's almost like they have to keep up with the Joneses. It's like if you don't be a part of this, you're missing out on something. It's unfortunate that the kids are that way, because I don't feel that you need to train year round. I think you need to give your body some rest. I saw it with my last son, who's currently in college. I finally figured it out that this child needed some rest, and he sprouted, got bigger, got stronger. Remember little Keegan was the
runt.
He was 5 foot nothing. Then he turned out being the biggest
of all of them. Right.
Yeah. So part of that was just recalibrating and figuring out what worked the best for him. Now there's some kids who can do that and love it and want to do it year round. But I encourage against it. I really think that kids need to have some rest. Yeah. And have some time to just be a child.
Let me throw something at you with that, because I now this is not a locked in science. This isn't a science that I can say or validate or have any data on. So I can't WTF this one.
Okay.
But I can throw it out for debate. Sauter Heyman text line is open to you. We thank you for Sauter Heyman Jewelers for sponsoring the video stream, as well as the line Allo VIP line, which we're not going to have him on that. We're going to have him actually join Mike Sauter's. Remember, Mike Sauter is going to be joining us to talk about some of these topics. 402-464-5685 if you do want to engage in a debate. But here's the thing. Me being a 3-sport athlete, really more than that. I mean, if I had more time, I probably could have played wrestled and even track. Yeah, right. So I look at it as, now this is just a throw out topic. My body, even though I was still playing consistently throughout the year, whether it be baseball, basketball, football, something pretty much throughout the year, I always wondered why I didn't have injuries. Right? Someone that's usually putting a grind on their body at the level that I was doing it in all those sports, you would have thought that maybe I'd torn an ACL and did some other damage, other places of my body. Yeah. But in actuality, this is the debate question. I was working other muscles, so I wasn't putting constant strain on specific muscles by training overworking them, because I was so honed in on one sport. So I was able to get through a whole career without any major injuries until after. And then after I was done playing and retired, I tore my Achilles. I just wanted to throw that out there. It's just a debate.
Like Arsenio Hall would say, things that make you go,
Yeah.
I never thought about that.
Let me ask you guys this, just because it's on your guys' point. You guys see Nick's tweet that went a little viral? I think he tweeted it today or maybe last night.
Missed it.
So I've been traveling, so I literally just got back.
So it was a 7 and 8 years old kids and under baseball league, and they played 60 games in 4 months.
Yeah,
the team went 58-1, but like to me, that's 4 months. So that's a game every other day for 8 and under kids.
Yeah,
that's a lot of baseball. That is like to 8 and under too. That's where I was like, are you sure your kid wants to do it at that point?
Yeah, so I think in the case like that, obviously the kids, they gotta love it, right? You have to love it to do stuff like that. So obviously
it's a love-hate relationship between that, because the parent, go ahead.
I said hopefully they do.
They do.
But a lot of times it's parent driven.
Yeah.
When
burn them out.
A lot of times it's business driven.
When they
business
get
with the money that gets involved.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's thousands of dollars they're traveling, hotel rooms. There's a lot of money tied into all that. And that's why with these youth sports, it's got to be for recreation.
Me too.
I prepaid. Like my kids got scholarship, but I prepaid.
Yeah.
A lot of gas, a lot of hotels, food.
No, that's another mortgage.
Yes,
Real talk. That's facts.
But let's shift. Let's kind of get back to what we were talking about in regards to is Coach Rule doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at this initial recruiting class, I see 500-mile radius.
Okay.
He's doing a good job of attacking that. And we want to talk to Mike Sauter about Texas.
Wow.
We are starting to see
pipeline?
Some kids being pulled out of Texas, unlike it has been over with those current regimes. There, and I'm seeing some kids out of Iowa, pulling some kids out of Iowa, Topeka, Kansas. I mean, I'm seeing, and then obviously the Nebraska kids, where over the last few years,
is it a different conversation? Like, is it a Frost? Like real talk. Like Frost to me doesn't have charisma, right? He's cool, but he doesn't come across as authentic in some instances. Now, I'm just saying, not from me personally of knowing him, but from just some conversations that I've had and just some things like that. The sit down sometimes can make the difference as to the story, not only that you're telling, the product that you're also selling, and the vision that you're also sharing. If you can compile that and put it all together, it can ultimately mean, even when you're at your lowest of peak, you can actually draw some talent. Now it's going to all play out basically in the fall. We're going to see if it's played out or not. But what's your thought?
Obviously, I have experience. I had an opportunity to talk with Coach Frost when he was recruiting my son.
Oh, yeah.
So I will say this. When we came in and sat down with him, I thought he did a good job.
Okay.
I'm not going to one-on-one, when we were all in the office, he was talking. He laid out his thoughts and his feeling and his plan. I thought Scott was good.
Okay.
One-on-one. That initial contact was good. And then obviously the staff around him, everybody was good. So you got to understand that was early on though in his initial coaching here in Nebraska. I think when you look back, because hindsight is 2020, right? We can now say these things because we now have a viewpoint of what we saw. I think really where he missed the boat is his communication with resources is where he missed out.
Okay.
He had an opportunity to really solidify himself, particularly in the Omaha area. And I just know there was like phone calls not being returned and just the communication wasn't where it should be. And I think overall, we wanted to see the success. We wanted to help. We wanted to say, hey, man, you should do this. But, when you don't feel like a connection, if you don't feel wanted, if you don't feel like we don't need that, if you're getting that from the coach, we don't need that, then it's not gonna be good. Now, Coach Rule, what I know right now is his communication with his resources across the state have been excellent. And I think that if he continues that, he's gonna maybe have the sort of success that he's looking for.
That sounds good. I'm really interested to see, because some of the rooms are stacked.
Okay.
Right. I'm interested to see how he's able to mitigate that and hopefully retain. I want the retention levels to remain at a good level. I don't want it to be a lot of turnover, because turnover does us no good. You saw with Mel Tucker how he was able to be a one-hit wonder and hitting. Had a drop off.
What is this, year 3 coming up for him?
But they said he's done a really good job in revamping and the recruiting. For me, and I want to hear your thought on this, because for me, it's like building a Lego pyramid, right? You can't build your foundation with thin bottoms,
right?
Because it'll topple.
Yep. Okay.
I think that's what's been happening. Like I think it happens in basketball a lot on some teams. I think Kansas State was able to win by what they were able to do out of it, because it's just so hard to build chemistry. Just think of it like this, you guys. If you and I, if we're about to go into battle we're behind enemy lines.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a large swath of fighters with us. We're special forces. We're going in with a small group. I need to know who you are. I need to know that if I'm on my right flank, there is no question that my guy Harrison got my side.
Right.
Like there ain't gonna be no drop off, no tailback. He's going just the same. I know he's working with me and not against me, right? It's tough to bring that together in the portal alone.
Right.
I think there has to be a good balance. I think you have to have a balance of those that you brought in, that you're telling them the story of long-term retention to keep them for your foundation. And I think you can pluck and peel and put some pieces on the top to be able to make your pyramid complete. That's just
Harrison, what we looking like on time before I go in?
You got about 5 minutes to make a point.
Okay.
Yeah, you got time. You got time.
You brought up a lot of interesting points because obviously time has changed. We didn't deal with this obviously back when we played. This whole the portal paradigm has really changed things, and you have to be very careful, because if you're pulling in the wrong people because you're trying to create a culture, you have to make sure you do your research, because if you're pulling in the wrong guys, they have to be coming for the right reason, right?
Because it can be cancerous.
Absolutely. You got to do your research these days. And I've seen it with some teams. I don't want to put no team on blast right now, but doing some research with some of these teams, I know that they have not always brought in the type of player that they were looking to have as their foundation, because all teams have like what they're based off of, right? Like I remember we were like unity, belief, respect. You know, we
that's your core.
We had that core, right?
Yeah.
And
core beliefs.
Whoever's coming in has to buy in, right? If you are pulling in these high school kids, it's pretty easy to talk them into what they got to do. But when you got a guy that's coming from a
different system,
you have to make sure he is not coming to, hey, listen, I'm coming here because I'm on my way to the league and it's about me, right? If he's coming in going, listen, I want to contribute, and I know if I bust my A, things are going to fall. They're going to fall into place.
Yeah.
They're going to fall into place.
Yeah.
So again, I like what you're saying. It's going to be very interesting to see portal mix with recruits. Who does the best job of balancing that out and making sure the culture is right, is going to win. Because Coach Osborne, I'm going to tell you, he did a great job of bringing in junior college players. We had a fair amount of junior college players, prop 48s, and qualifiers all come together. It's about the psychology. If you can get the psychology of the team right, man, it's some next level stuff.
How with a quick answer, it's not, this isn't a deep one. We can dig in this as another topic. But how do you minimize and keep situations like what's going on at Northwestern right now from happening in your program? You know, like how so it's important about the staff that you also hire, because that if you didn't know, you should know, because it seemed to me that the stuff that was going on down there was an accumulation of things to get to the level that I was at. You don't start at that level,
right?
You know what I mean? It's an accumulation of what some of the younger guys were building off of from stuff that they had seen or went through or had to battle, and then it gets to this. So what is a way that maybe you can kind of help yourself to not fall into that type of situation? I mean, we don't know that these are all alleged. We don't know the details.
We don't even know the names.
We don't know anything, but we're just. I'm just.
It was a 6 month
using the topic
investigation, though,
right?
So it's not like it's off nothing. It was 6 months they looked at this.
Yeah.
I'll just say this: times have changed, and what I mean by that is there's a level of hazing going on everywhere. Even
facts.
Even when I played ball.
Yeah.
Was it to the level of I need to get my parents involved or I need to tell the coaches? I didn't see that, but this is a different time, Stricky.
Yeah.
This is a different time. These kids,
they've been inundated with a lot of more information than we probably have.
But here's the thing. Here's another thing. A lot of stuff seems to get out of the locker room where before it's like it was taboo that it even made it to the coaches.
Right.
Where it's not like that these days. It's a lot more, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. It's a lot of stuff going on where you can capture things. Like look at Antonio Brown.
It wasn't around when I was around. I'm so glad.
Like for instance, Antonio Brown streaming live on Facebook while his coach is giving the team a talk.
Yeah.
During the game, like that.
That's that's a no-no. Yeah,
that's a no-no. Now, there is a level of effery that it can be where it can get out of hand, where you like, listen, y'all doing too much.
Yeah.
You're doing too much, and some of this ain't necessary. You just have to know who you're dealing with, and players all have to be on one accord.
That's good stuff. That's our first segment here. We're going to come back with Mike Sauter on the other side of the break. 93.7 The Ticket. You are on WTF. We Talk Facts. We'll be right back.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Getting experience to jumpstart a meaningful career can be difficult, and education can cost a fortune. Luckily, AmeriCorps can be the solution. With AmeriCorps, you'll earn a stipend and education award while helping people. Plus, you'll gain professional skills and make connections to help you build your career. If you're ready to start a career you can be proud of, visit serve.nebraska.gov/service to find a program for you. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them?
By their clothes,
their age,
the way they speak. Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
Papa, why can't we telegraph while riding a horse?
Son, there ain't no one to blame but Jeffro. He was riding old Betsy the Stallion, tip-tapping away at his telegraph, when blam, ran right into the side of the saloon.
Well, if Jeffro can't do it, neither should you. Don't text and drive.
Am I automatically...
Rex.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Whether you like fishing together or fishing to get away, for the thrill of reeling in a big one, or just going out to have a good time, on the banks of your local pond, at a bend in a river, or on one of our many lakes and reservoirs, you'll always find the perfect place to cast a line. Here, beneath Nebraska skies. Start planning your next fishing adventure today at letsfishnebraska.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey guys, Jake Sorensen here from Early Break, and on behalf of the entire 93.7 The Ticket team, we are excited to announce this fall we are teaming up with Husker Extra for the Big Red Brunch. We'll have big names from now and the past from Husker sports, and that all starts on Wednesday, August 9th for the Big Red Brunch Golf Scramble at Tiburon Golf Club in Gretna. Sign up to play today at omaha.com and find the Big Red Brunch tab. You won't want to miss this on August 9th at Tiburon in Gretna.
Back to We Talk Facts on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Strick and Clester.
Yes. We're back on WTF. We Talk Facts. Great first segment, but we have a next segment that we have a guest that's coming on. Class. Great friend of the family.
Well, I mean, I hope so. I hope that Mike sees me as a friend. I saw his rise to prominence. I felt like I saw Mike on the ground floor, and every time I see him, I just be like, man, I'm proud of this dude, man, because he made something out of nothing. And but now he's very prominent, and he's the go-to guy. I saw him build his platform, got bought by the World Herald. Then he's at Herd at Sports. I don't know if it's Herd at Sports or if it's just Herd at. Okay, Herd at
Sports is either one.
Okay. But listen, if it comes to any kid around the state in the 500-mile radius, Mike knows. He studied it. He's like the Mel Kiper. Listen, don't take offense to that. He's like the Mel Kiper of Nebraska. But anyway, let me turn it over to Mike and just say, hey man, thank you for coming on the show. We appreciate it.
Hey, if I wish I had Mel Kiper's hair, man.
Yeah. We all in the same boat, Mike. So it's all good.
Clean.
All brother crew. That's right.
No, thank you guys for having me. I don't know what we're gonna talk about, but I'm gonna try and give it to you straight, like I can. Let you guys ask me whatever questions you want, and I'll just tell it to you how it is. And Clester, yes, we are friends. I consider you a friend, and your family friends. I still talk to Kate occasionally. CJ, I see him on Instagram going to concerts and doing some stuff. I don't even know what's happening. So,
and Keegan's my recluse child. He's not even on social media very much. So
yeah, Keegan just stays out of all that mess. So
he's out of ball. He's out of ball.
It's good.
So, one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on, and one of the things I talked about was, when Scott Frost initially came, I really felt like there was an initial bump of Nebraska kids who wanted to commit and play for Scott, because it was very exciting that you have this coach who was at UCF, had a lot of success, and then you just kind of look at where he came from. It looks like there was going to be Nebraska coming back, getting back on track. We got a guy who played here, had success, and now he's going to bring his success. How do you compare Scott's initial first recruiting classes to what's going on right now?
Good question. So Scott, his first class, I guess, if you will, was that, I think that if I'm correct, I think it was 2019, might have been 18. But that was Chris, that was Nick Henrich, Chris Hickman, Garrett Snodgrass, Garrett Nelson, Ethan Piper, and I guess Newelly now is at Nebraska, but he was a part of that class. There was only 5 power conference guys in that class, and they all went to Nebraska. So very similar to what Rule has right now, where, okay, I looked this up because I figured we'd talk about this. There are over 20 at least group of 5 players in the 2024 in-state recruiting class football-wise. Over 20. and that's
got to be a record.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
That is
and
a
there
lot.
and there are 12, I believe, is the number, power conference players in a class in Nebraska. That is like amazing, right? I mean, it is phenomenal. So we don't normally see that. It's very rare for that number to be that high, and for Nebraska and Coach Rule to get seven of the
6 right now that I'm counting, unless I'm missing one. Yeah.
Carter Nelson, Carter Nelson, the 3 Beverly West guys is 4. Ashton Murphy, Donovan Jones. So yes. And then there's still guys like Caleb Benning out there that will, probably, I don't know what's happening there, but I ain't gonna talk to his dad about that.
Hey, we're speculating, baby. It's a lot of speculation going on out there. With Caleb.
So he's done a nice job. I mean, this staff has done a nice job with in-state recruiting right now. Can they keep that up? Right? Like, and they can't take everybody.
Right.
It just isn't possible. Like, there are 4 tight ends that are in the 2024 class that are power conference tight ends. You can't take 4 tight ends you just can't take 4 tight ends. So from the in-state or not. But I mean, there are guys that they frankly, if you look at it, you have a guy like a Teddy Rizak at Westside that they kind of misevaluated. And they probably will tell you that. And he ended up committing to Notre Dame. So there are players like that. Again, can't take everybody, but back when Scott was first kind of rolling, and it did a nice job that first initial year or two, and then something happened, and it wasn't the winning or losing or whatnot. It really wasn't, because in my opinion, I think that the former staff just chalked it up to, kids in Nebraska just want to play for Nebraska. Well, kids outside of Omaha probably do, but kids in Omaha don't care right now because Nebraska isn't, when you played there, Cluster, like it just isn't it. And I will tell you, to be frank about it, like, they probably didn't do a great job in Omaha as far as recruiting stuff. They did a good job, and I've said this publicly before, they did a good job west of 120th Street in Omaha. I'm not sure if they did a good job east of 120th Street in Omaha, if you know what I mean.
Great point.
Like, that stuff matters. Like, it matters. And if you have the right kind of fit and the right person, and and then Mickey came in and did a nice job of trying to build that bridge back.
Re-engaging.
Especially in, I guess, inner city Omaha schools. It said that with air quotes, but he did a nice job with that and being around. So we'll see if it continues. Right now it's trending in that direction, and it's all about relatability in recruiting it. And if you can't relate to kids, it ain't happening, right?
Well, let me throw this out to you real quick, Mike. And it's a quick tie on. It doesn't have to be a long-winded one or an answer but it's a quick tie on. Because of the changes of the systems with transfer portals, with NIL now, did we, for a period, or are we still stuck in? Because I think this is not only in football. I think it's across the board. I think the one that benefits from what I'm about to ask you is volleyball and maybe softball, but I definitely volleyball, maybe even track. But are we locked in as far as our mentality as a total at the University of Nebraska in the brand? Like similar to Notre Dame. Similar to some of these others, they're so, you can get so caught up in the brand that you forget to readjust. Similar to, let's just give me a little quick caveat. Similar to Blockbuster, right? Blockbuster got so caught up in the brand that they lost their way, and then Netflix comes in and flips them out the business. You know what I'm saying? So is that something that we need to worry about, or is Rule and others Fred Hoiberg and others, on the men's side, the women seem to be doing a good job at it. But the men, do we need to catch up, or are we still lost in the brand?
Yeah, I think that was just football wise. I think Frost was like the brand is bigger than anything, and doesn't matter. And we're Nebraska, and why wouldn't a kid from Nebraska want to play here? Like, shoot, like I think they just chalked it up to like that. I think basketball wise, obviously, it's a lot different. Volleyball has done a tremendous job, and frankly, they win a lot.
Yeah.
And every girl that, I mean, if John Cook offers you a scholarship, you don't say no. You just don't.
Some of the best facilities in the country.
Yeah, and they win, and they're I mean, program's tremendous, and done a great job building it, and the culture's great and all that. So basketball is a little bit different, right? I think Coach Miles tried pretty hard to get in-state guys, and missed guys clearly. Clearly guys that should have went there, and now I think now with Coach Hoiberg and the staff they have now, last year's staff and the current, moving into this year, no changes this year. I think they're trying really hard to get to really engage in Nebraska. And when I say that, June 15th came, and that's the first time that juniors can be, talked to, or to be juniors can be contacted by Division I schools. And I will say Nebraska called basketball, called direct message, text, whatever it may be, like 15 kids in the 2025 class. They're not going to offer 15 kids, obviously.
Yeah.
They might, right now they've only offered 2. So you look at that, and they're trying really hard. And frankly, Matt Abdelmassi was a mess as far as recruiting goes for Nebraska basketball. I firmly believe that. And he didn't think kids were good enough around here. And, he was going to go with the transfer portal route and all that stuff. And then you miss out on guys like Chucky Hepburn, and he didn't think Chucky was good enough, frankly. Told me that.
That's crazy.
And Hunter Salas wasn't good enough, and missed on Isaac Trout, and now missed, the second time now, but that's a different story. But he was a mess, and it set him back, frankly. Like men's basketball, it set them back. Women's basketball, Amy and her staff's done a great job.
Doing a great job.
Yeah. Track's done a great job, right? Like Darius Luff is one of the best hurdlers in Nebraska. He's from Lincoln, Iowa. Like, or in the state, or in the country. So he's done a really good job. Softball, clearly, like I think Jordy Ball, that changes a lot, but they're gonna probably benefit a lot from Jordy coming back. Not just financially, on the recruiting front, because there's players like Alexis Jensen, who's probably the best pitcher in the state, and she's a junior. So at Gretna, and she might end up, jumping on the Nebraska train.
I got a 2-part question for you.
Okay.
And we're going to try to, because we got
about 4 minutes.
All right.
I got a 2-part question. And it's about Nebraska recruiting again. Well, let's go back to this 2024 class. You got Carter Nelson, you got Davon Hall, Isaiah McMorris, Daniel Kalen, Ashton Smith, Elkhorn South, Donovan Jones. And you mentioned that there was 12 Power 5 players. Mm-hmm. I want to know.
Group of 5.
No.
Power
5.
Power 5.
There's 20.
20. Group of 5.
Yeah,
okay.
Group of 5. Okay. Are we getting the right players? Okay. Because do you feel like we're capturing the right ones? And out of the ones who've committed, who do you see can make a quick impact, if possible?
Great question.
Yeah. I will say, yes, getting the right ones. I do feel like a really big sleeper is Tanner Hollinger, the tight end from Cross County that committed to Illinois. I think he has a chance to be really, really good. That's just my opinion. And again, you can't take multiple tight ends, but I think he's one for sure. And Eric Ingwerson he's a big old dude that is going to catch some touchdowns probably at Pitt. And they've done a nice job at Pitt.
He has a special place in my heart too.
Yeah. I will say this: Caleb Binning, I think, will be key if they can get him. I really think he's a talented guy, and he isn't. The stereotype with him is he's not a track guy, or he's not this, and he's not that. He's not that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. You put the tape on, and he pops real quick. Yeah.
On which side of the ball, Mike? What side of the ball for him?
I think he's a safety.
Yeah.
Strong safety.
Him on the side. I see him on the side.
And he's so smart. His football IQ is off the charts. The one in-state guy, I do believe Isaiah McMorris has a chance to be pretty special, just because he's really twitchy and like short space, kind of really quick, and has some speed to him too a little bit to be a slot kind of guy like that. Reminds me a lot of a guy like Cade Johnson. He does. He reminds me a lot of him. Just twitchy, right? Like football speed's faster than track speed guy. He reminds me a lot of that. And maybe it's just because Bellevue West thing, but like to me, it's pretty similar. I really believe that.
Harrison, what are we looking like right now? Because I can hit him with another one.
Yeah, we got time for one more.
Okay. All right, Mike. I'm also looking at this class. There's been quite a few guys coming out of Texas. What do you attribute that to?
I think it's just
there's an obvious answer, but give me some more meat to that answer. Because we haven't been winning, right? We haven't been to a bowl game in 6-7 years, and not a winning record. So how are we getting these guys? How are we getting them?
I think it's just. I think the easy answer is the connection that the staff has in Texas, right? And you gotta find guys from somewhere. There was the Mike Riley tried the Cali Nebraska thing, which was the dumbest thing ever. I just thought that like, and
that set us back too.
Yeah, big time. And then, but I think it's just the connection they have, and people trust Matt Rule. All the Texas coaches that you talk to, high school coaches, really believe in Matt Rule and what he did at Baylor. Think about what he did at Baylor. It is amazing. Like, if you just think back, the program was dead and he revived it. So it's kind of similar, but without all the legal stuff, right? Like, it's a little bit similar. So I think you got to have a honey hole outside of state, and it feels like Texas is going to be theirs, and which is fine because it's not that far. Right? It's not like you're trying to get kids from Georgia or Florida.
It's a huge talent pool out there too.
Yeah, and there's plenty of players down there.
Right.
So if you can find, a nice little niche there that and beat out in Oklahoma or Texas or something, because not every kid really wants to stay, in state. It'd be hard to get guys out of there, but they've done a nice job with it so far. And I think that's probably why, it's just the connection, and people remember what Rule did at Baylor.
Yeah. Harrison, time. Well, we're good. We're good. Can I get him? Can I get more?
Do we have him on the next segment, or just this one?
Can.
I'm fine.
It's up to him.
Can we get you a little bit more in the next section?
I don't want to help my wife put my kids to bed anyway. So
okay,
I got time.
We'll throw it to break and then catch them on the next one.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be right back. Thanks for holding on for us, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
93.7 The Ticket. We are WTF on 93.7 Ticket.
I know that a lot of times, Mom, it might not seem like I'm listening to you, but I am. I hear you. And what you say really does matter to me.
I mean, let's be honest. No kid likes rules, but I get why we have them. I hear you, and I know it's because you care.
For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Sponsored by DHHS and aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Getting experience to jumpstart a meaningful career can be difficult, and education can cost a fortune. Luckily, AmeriCorps can be the solution. With AmeriCorps, you'll earn a stipend and education award while helping people. Plus, you'll gain professional skills and make connections to help you build your career. If you're ready to start a career you can be proud of, visit serve.nebraska.gov/service to find a program for you. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is, my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately, in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity, not to make friends, but just to get something to eat? Or a retiree who fell ill and had to choose
between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Sometimes playing with a healthy fear is good because it makes you go, 100 out. Because the more tentative you are, I always told kids, I said, listen, if you don't like this and you don't want to play, don't play. Because you're worse off and get probably hurt more by being tentative in your play as opposed to playing all out.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Back to We Talk Facts on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Strick and Cleston.
Thank you, everybody, for getting on and listening on 93.7 The Ticket. Sorry, my tongue got stuck.
Tongue tied.
93.7 The Ticket on WTF Sport Podcast.
Yeah.
We want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. It's been a great night. And I also want to shout out again Mike Souter. And please go listen to him on Heard at Sports. We support him. He took time out of his night to come in and give us these great opinions. Like I said, he's the Mel Kiper of Nebraska.
Oh yeah,
youth sports. But
real quick. Wait, Mike, shoot everybody your social media handle so people can follow you.
Yeah, it's just Twitter is just Mike Sauter _, and then Instagram is Mike Sauter, just my name, and Threads is the new thing, right? And it's just Mike Sauter. And TikTok is just Mike Sauter, and Facebook, I believe, is just Mike Sauter NEB Prep.
It's all
easy.
All there.
Mike is the go-to guy here in the state for youth information. If there's kids you think he should see, that's the man. But now here, Mike, we got just a few minutes left in this show, and I got a tough question for you. You ready for this?
Sure.
With the number of Power 5 and group of 5 players in this state, who's going to make Super 6?
Oh, man.
Who is your Super 6 choice?
Tough. It's a real WTF question right there.
Front of the World Herald. What 6 players? Because I mean, this
it's a WTF question right there.
I've never seen a year like this with this many great players.
They're probably, as someone who was a part of the selection of the Super Six when I worked at the World Herald, it is difficult. They're probably just going to go with the 6 committed dude, or 5 of the 6 committed dudes to Nebraska and Caleb Benning. That's probably what the easy thing to do.
Really?
That's probably the easiest one. You go Nelson, Kaline. Nelson and Kaline will definitely be on there. There's no question. And then you'll probably go with Hall, McMorris, Benning, and Murphy. That's probably what they'll do.
It's difficult.
It's hard because you're leaving out someone in Anthony Rizak, the quarterback at Westside, who is going to blow the doors off of people this year again, and he did last year. So I'll say this: I personally and my team, whatever, are working on something similar, if you will, to a Super Six, but not quite that, because that's the World Herald's thing, right? And it has been for a long time. But I bet I could just bet you that they go with 5 of the 6, not Donovan Jones, and they throw Caleb Benning in there.
Listen, I'm counting on Donovan Jones to have an exceptional year.
He looks amazing. Our 7-on-7.
If he doesn't make Super Six, I hope he uses that as a chip on his shoulder. I know his father very well, and he's going to have an exceptional year. And I'm also rooting for Ingerson and obviously my Bellevue West guys.
Yeah.
I would pick Ingerson, Jones, and the Bellevue West guys. That would be my pick.
That's a biased pick right there.
Biased. I'm a little biased.
Biased pick like a mug right there.
I just know, I think the easy way out for them would just to be that, right? Take the Nebraska commits and then one other, and
that's the PC answer.
Take the Nebraska commits, not Donovan Jones, the 5. Or because how do you take McMorris or Hall? Like, how do you pick one? And then it's hard. And then you're going to take Nelson and Kaline. You just are. You're going to take the quarterback, and you're going to take the top-rated nationally kid.
This is an exceptional year, Mike. I think they should do something where they are highlighting them all.
They should do like a
12. They should.
But that, hey, Sam Sledge didn't make it last year from Prep, the offensive lineman, and that motivated him. Let me tell you, because I was at Prep's practice the day after that came out, and he was fired up. I'll say that. And he's going to be way good. I thought they left him out. I would have put him on it last year.
Mike, man, we want to thank you again. Strick, you want to give him some love?
Mike, thank you once again for taking the time out of your busy schedule and not putting the kids to sleep to join WTF. We appreciate you and all the wonderful things that you continue to do.
Get buckets.
All right.
Peace, Mike.
All right.
There it is. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
There it is, man. Another night of WTF. We talk facts. What a wonderful night to be able to chop it up, find out some information, get some facts, some actual factuals, and also to dig into a few topics of just, off the top of the dome.
Next week we want to talk about, can Nebraska get back? And what is it going to take to get this? Can we get to a bowl game this year, you think? I mean, what you think?
Yeah. I ain't drinking the Kool-Aid, but I'm gonna root for Rule. Let me just say that.
What do we need to see this year?
That's what we're gonna talk about next week.
Peace.
We're out of here. 93.7 The Ticket. We talk facts. WTF. See you next time.
Veterans, do you know what local, state, and federal benefits and services you're eligible to receive?